Welcome back to the Peak Performance Podcast. I am Brad Young, and this is episode 93. Today we are doing something a little different. We are going back in time, far back, to one of the most extraordinary civilizations the world has ever known. We are talking about the Inca Empire, and more specifically, the warriors who defended it, built it, and ran it across one of the most brutal and beautiful landscapes on the face of the earth. This episode 2 on the Inca Warriors, we look at the secrets of the ancient peak performers. Sit down, get comfortable, and let the story come to you. By the time we are finished, you are going to have a completely new framework for what it means to perform at your absolute best, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And you are going to walk away with a real practical training plan rooted in the ancient wisdom of the Inca Warriors, adapted for your life today. Now we look at bringing it to the modern world. Now comes the part that I find most exciting because everything we have discussed, the endurance, the diet, the mental resilience, the purpose, is not locked in the 14th century. It is completely practically available to you right now. You do not need to live in the Andes. You do not need access to a sling or a quinoa field. What you need is to understand the principles behind what the Inca warriors did and to apply those principles intelligently to your own life and training. In the sections that follow, we're going to build out a complete training plan inspired by Inca warrior principles. This plan is designed for the average person, someone who works, has family responsibilities, and does not have 10 hours a day to devote to training. It is not a plan for elite athletes, though elite athletes would benefit from its principles. It is a plan for anyone who wants to become significantly more physically capable, mentally resilient, and energized than they are today. We're going to cover a 12-week training structure with weekly plans, daily practice recommendations, and nutritional guidance drawn directly from what we know of the Inca diet, adapted for ingredients available to you wherever you live. We're also going to cover the mindset work, the resilience practices, the purpose clarity exercises, and the daily rituals that will anchor your training in something more meaningful than just looking better or hitting a number on a scale. This is not a quick fix. The Inca warriors did not become who they were in a weekend. They became who they were through years of consistent, purposeful effort embedded in a culture that valued exactly that. What we can do is compress the learning, apply the most powerful principles, and give you a structure that will produce real and lasting results if you apply it with genuine commitment. That is the deal. You bring the effort and the consistency. This plan gives you the direction. Let us build something extraordinary together. The Warrior Nutrition Plan, eating for performance, the foundation meal. Build every main meal around a base of cooked quinoa or roasted sweet potato, a generous portion of protein from lean meat or legumes, and as many vegetables as you can comfortably fit. This combination delivers complete protein, slow-burning carbohydrates, and the vitamins and minerals your body needs to perform and recover. The Warrior Snack. Between meals, reach for protein-dense, portable foods. High-quality jerky, hard-boiled eggs, a handful of nuts, or a small portion of leftover quinoa. Avoid processed snacks that spike blood sugar and lead to energy crashes. The Inca ate to sustain, not to stimulate. Your snacks should do the same. The pre-training meal. 1 to 2 hours before training, eat a meal or snack that is higher in complex carbohydrates and moderate in protein. Quinoa porridge with a drizzle of honey and a handful of berries is outstanding. A sweet potato with a small portion of meat works equally well. Give your body the fuel it needs before you ask it to perform. The overall principle of the Warrior Nutrition Plan is simple. Eat real food, eat enough of it, and time it intelligently around your training. Eliminate processed foods as much as possible. Not because they are morally wrong, but because they simply do not provide the consistent, clean energy that performance demands. If you are hungry, eat more of the good things. Protein and vegetables are almost always a safe choice. Complex carbohydrates earn their place when you are training regularly and your body needs the fuel. Hydration deserves its own mention. The Inca consumed water from the mountain streams and often drank chicha, a fermented corn beverage used ceremonially and as a source of carbohydrates and beneficial microorganisms. Your hydration strategy is simpler. Drink water consistently throughout the day, before and after training, and especially in the morning when your body is most depleted after a night of sleep. Most people are chronically mildly dehydrated, and mild dehydration measurably impairs both physical and cognitive performance. Drink more water than you think you need. The 12-week Inca Warrior training plan overview. The 12-week plan is divided into 4 distinct phases, each lasting 3 weeks. This structure mirrors the progressive overload principle, the idea that the body adapts to the demands placed upon it, and that demands must therefore increase progressively over time to continue producing adaptation. Each phase builds directly on the one before it. Do not skip ahead, the foundation matters. The preparation that happens in weeks 1 through 3 is what makes weeks 10 through 12 possible. Within each week, training is distributed across 6 days with 1 full rest day. Rest is not optional. It is the time during which the body actually builds the adaptations that training stimulates. Training creates the demand. Rest is when the demand is met. Skipping rest days does not make you stronger faster. It makes you more likely to break down, get injured, or burn out before the real gains arrive. The Inca understood the rhythm of effort and restoration. They built recovery into their systems. You must do the same. Throughout all 12 weeks, the emphasis is on movement quality over movement quantity. A perfect hour of purposeful training is worth more than 3 sloppy hours done mindlessly. Bring your full attention to every session. Notice how your body feels. Notice what is working and what is struggling. Adjust accordingly. This is the essence of deliberate practice. And it is exactly what the Inca Warriors applied to their weapon training, applied now to the practice of building your own extraordinary body and mind. Phase 1, Foundation, weeks 1 through 3. Monday, long steady walk or hike. Begin with 45 to 60 minutes of steady paced walking on varied terrain if possible. Hills are ideal. Flat paths are acceptable. The goal is unbroken, comfortable aerobic effort. You should be able to hold a conversation throughout. This builds the aerobic base. Everything else depends on. Tuesday, body weight strength circuit. 3 rounds of 15 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 reverse lunges each leg, a 30-second plank, and 10 hip hinges. Rest 90 seconds between rounds. Focus on form. Move deliberately and with control. These movements mirror the functional demands of mountain life: carrying loads, climbing, pushing, stabilizing. Wednesday, easy movement and mobility. 30 minutes of light walking and 10 to 15 minutes of slow, deliberate stretching and mobility work. This is an active recovery day. Move enough to promote blood flow and reduce soreness, but do not train hard. Treat this day as maintenance, not development. Thursday, interval walking and running. 20 minutes of alternating effort. Walk briskly for 2 minutes, then run or jog at a comfortable pace for 1 minute. Repeat for the full 20 minutes. This introduces the body to higher intensity aerobic work without overwhelming it. By week 3, aim to flip the ratio: 1 minute walking, 2 minutes running. Friday, loaded carry and core work. Walk for 20 to 30 minutes, carrying a backpack loaded with 10 to 15 pounds. This mimics the warrior's daily reality of moving over terrain while bearing weight. Follow with 2 rounds of 10 slow sit-ups, 15 glute bridges, and a 45-second plank. Simple, demanding, effective. Saturday, long endurance day. This is your weekly long effort, 60 to 90 minutes of continuous walking on the most challenging terrain you can access. Carry a light pack. Aim to finish feeling tired but not destroyed. Each week of this phase, extend by 10 minutes or increase the elevation gain slightly. This is where the aerobic base truly grows. Sunday is your rest day. Eat well, sleep as much as your schedule allows, and reflect on the week. This is also a good time to practice the mindset work we will discuss shortly, to sit quietly, to clarify your purpose, and to reconnect with the reasons you are doing this work. Recovery is not passive, it is an active practice of restoration. Phase 2, development. weeks 4 through 6. By the time you reach week 4, your body has been through 3 weeks of consistent progressive effort. Your aerobic capacity is better than it was. Your muscles have adapted to the foundational strength work. Your connective tissue has strengthened to handle greater load. Now we increase the demands to continue driving adaptation. In phase 2, the long, steady walk on Mondays becomes a run walk hybrid, where running occupies more of the time than walking. By week 6, aim for a continuous 30-minute run at a pace that is challenging but manageable. The strength circuit on Tuesdays gains a fourth round and the exercises become more demanding. Squats become jump squats. Push-ups become deficit push-ups. Reverse lunges become walking lunges with added load from your training pack. Thursday interval work shifts to running intervals. Warm up with 5 minutes of walking, then alternate between 60 seconds of hard running and 90 seconds of easy jogging for 15 to 20 minutes. This is tempo work, the kind of training that specifically develops the ability to sustain higher levels of effort for longer periods. It is uncomfortable. That discomfort is exactly the point. You are training your body to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is one of the most valuable adaptations any athlete can develop. The Saturday long effort extends to 90 minutes to 2 hours. Begin carrying 15 to 20 pounds in your pack. Challenge yourself to find terrain with significant elevation gain. Climb hills you would previously have avoided. Descend carefully and with control. Descent training strengthens the knees and the posterior chain in ways that flat walking simply cannot. By the end of phase 2, you should feel substantially different than you did at the start of week 1. The difference is evidence of the adaptation process working. Trust the process and keep going. Phase 3, strength and endurance integration, weeks 7 through 9. Week 7, begin adding single leg work. Single leg deadlifts and Bulgarian split squats replace basic lunges. Run intervals extend to 90-second efforts. Long day becomes a 90-minute mountain hike with 20 pounds of pack weight. Begin cold shower practice each morning, or 30 seconds of cold water at the end of your regular shower. Week 8. Add a second strength day on Thursday, replacing intervals with a full body loaded session. Monday runs extend to 40 minutes continuous. Saturday long effort pushes to 2.5 hours with elevation priority. Begin practicing short meditation or stillness practice each evening. 5 to 10 minutes of quiet sitting. Week 9, the full integration week. 3 strength sessions, 3 endurance sessions. The long day on Saturday becomes your first warrior challenge. Hike for 3 hours with 25 pounds of pack weight over the most demanding terrain you can access. This is your benchmark. Complete it and you have earned the transition to phase 4. Phase 3 is where many people hit their first significant wall. The cumulative fatigue from 9 weeks of progressive training is real. Your body may feel tired in ways it did not in the earlier weeks. This is normal. It is also exactly what the Inca Warrior training was designed to produce. Not comfort, but the experience of functioning effectively under fatigue. The adaptation that comes from pushing through a difficult week of training when your body is tired is qualitatively different from the adaptation that comes from easy sessions. Dig in. The rewards are waiting on the other side of the discomfort. Phase 4, peak performance, weeks 10 through 12. You have arrived at the final phase. Weeks 10 through 12 are designed to bring everything you have built, the aerobic base, the strength, the mental resilience, the nutritional habits, together into a cohesive expression of peak performance. These weeks are the hardest of the program. They are also the most rewarding. Long day pushes to 3 to 4 hours of long day pushes to 3 to 4 hours of continuous effort with a pack. Strength sessions become more complex. You're combining carries, pressing, and single leg work in sequences that challenge not just individual muscles, but the body's ability to coordinate movement under fatigue. This is functional strength, the kind that actually translates to real-world capability. Week 12 is your final warrior week, and it ends with a capstone challenge that you design for yourself. This should be the hardest single physical undertaking you have ever voluntarily attempted. A mountain summit, a long trail run, a day hike with significant elevation and full pack weight. Whatever it is, it should feel genuinely daunting when you plan it, and it should feel genuinely earned when you complete it. The Inca Warrior earned his status through demonstrated capability under real conditions. You will earn yours through this final challenge. When you finish, and you will finish, take a moment to sit with what you have done, not just the final challenge, but the entire 12 weeks. The early mornings when you did not want to get up and went anyway. The training sessions that felt awful and you got through them. The meals you prepared instead of reaching for something convenient and forgettable. Every one of those decisions compounded into the person who stands at the top of that hill, breathing hard, looking out at the world. That person is stronger, more resilient, and more capable than the person who started week one. That is not a metaphor. That is a real, measurable, physiological, and psychological transformation. You did that. And you did it the same way the Inca warriors built themselves, one day at a time, one deliberate choice at a time. The mindset practices, building your inner warrior, morning stillness. Before the day begins its demands on your attention, spend 5 to 10 minutes in complete stillness. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and simply breathe. Notice the breath without trying to control it. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to the breath. This practice, done daily, builds the capacity for focused attention that underpins every other performance skill you're developing. Purpose declaration. Each morning, before training and before the day's obligations begin, write or speak aloud a clear statement of your purpose, not a goal. A purpose. A goal is what you are trying to achieve. A purpose is why it matters. The Inca warrior knew his purpose at his core. You must know yours. Write it out, refine it over time, and return to it every single morning as the anchor that keeps you oriented when things get hard. Deliberate cold exposure. End each shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water. This is uncomfortable, and that is precisely the point. Choosing discomfort when you could choose comfort is the fundamental act of resilience training. Over time, the ability to calmly choose the hard thing transfers from the shower to the training session, to the difficult conversation, to the moment of crisis. Cold exposure also has documented benefits for recovery and inflammation reduction. Do it daily. Evening reflection. At the end of each day, spend 5 minutes writing 3 things: what you did well today, what you would do differently, and what you are grateful for. This practice is not soft self-help. It is a performance tool. Reviewing your actions daily accelerates learning, reinforces positive behaviors, and keeps your attention on what is within your control rather than what is not. The Inca warrior was accountable to his unit, his emperor, and his gods. You are accountable to yourself. This practice is how you honor that accountability. Rest, recovery, and the art of restoration. There is a tendency in performance culture to glorify effort and minimize rest. The message, stated or implied, is often that more is always better. More training, more intensity, more hours, more sacrifice. The Inca warrior culture was not guilty of this particular error. They understood through generations of practical wisdom that the body and mind require periods of genuine rest and restoration in order to maintain the level of performance that hard training demands over time. Sleep is the most powerful recovery tool available to you, and it costs nothing. During deep sleep, the body releases growth hormone that repairs damaged muscle tissue and supports adaptation to training. The brain consolidates motor skills. The physical patterns you practice during the day become more deeply encoded during sleep. The immune system is strengthened. Inflammatory processes are managed. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is reduced. In short, almost every single benefit you are trying to produce through training is either enhanced or diminished by the quality of your sleep. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours per night to fully benefit from their training. If you are regularly getting less than 7, sleep deprivation is actively undermining the work you are doing. Beyond sleep, build deliberate recovery practices into your week. The easy movement days built into the training plan are not filler. They serve a specific physiological purpose, promoting blood flow, reducing muscle soreness, maintaining mobility, and keeping the nervous system from reaching the state of accumulated fatigue that leads to injury or burnout. Treat these days with the same intentionality you bring to your hard training days. They are part of the plan, not a break from it. Nutrition plays a recovery role as well. After hard training, your muscles have used their fuel stores and begun the process of breaking down and rebuilding tissue. A meal or snack containing both protein and carbohydrates within an hour or two of training significantly accelerates the recovery process. The protein provides the building blocks for tissue repair. The carbohydrates replenish the fuel stores that training depleted. Do not skip post-training nutrition. It is not optional if you are serious about the results you are working toward. The legacy of the Inca warrior, what we carry forward. They built an empire not with iron weapons, but with iron will, sustained by the mountain air, the ancient grains, and the unshakable certainty of purpose that comes from knowing exactly who you are and why you are here. The Inca Empire fell to the Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century, a collapse driven by disease, political fracture, and the overwhelming technological advantage of firearms and steel. The warriors who had run across the Andes, who had trained from boyhood for a life of extraordinary physical and mental demand, could not overcome these circumstances. But what they built, the roads, the terraces, the cities perched impossibly on mountain ridges, and what they became, the most physically capable, endurance hardened, purposefully motivated warriors of the ancient American world, that cannot be undone by any conquest. We study them not out of nostalgia or romanticization, but because they solved the problem of human performance with remarkable sophistication, using nothing but the food around them, the land beneath them, and the culture within them. They did not need laboratories or supplement companies or algorithmic training platforms. They needed discipline, community, purpose, and the wisdom to work with nature rather than against it. In that sense, they have a great deal to teach us, perhaps more than we first realize. The principles we have covered in this episode, building your aerobic base through consistent movement, fueling your body with real whole foods, developing mental resilience through deliberate exposure to hardship, working in coordination with others towards shared goals, engineering your environment to support your performance, and anchoring all of it in a clear and compelling sense of purpose. These are not ancient secrets reserved for warriors. They are universal principles of human performance that apply with equal force to an athlete, a parent, a professional, a student, or anyone else who has decided to take their own capabilities seriously. What the Inca warrior had that most modern people lack is not superior genetics or miraculous food or a lost training secret. What he had was coherence, a complete alignment of his physical habits, his mental practices, his social environment, and his sense of purpose. Everything pointed in the same direction. Every aspect of his life reinforced every other aspect. That coherence is what produced extraordinary performance, and it is available to you today. Start with one thing. Build from there. Be patient and be consistent. And remember, as you lace up your shoes for an early morning run or sit down to a bowl of quinoa and vegetables, that you are drawing on a tradition of human excellence that stretches back 500 years to men who ran across the roof of the world for the honor of their empire and the love of their gods. You are in good company. Closing. The path is the practice. The Peak Performance Podcast, episode 93. Brad Young. That is episode 93 of the Peak Performance Podcast. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope you have come away not just with information about the Inca Warriors, but with a genuine sense of inspiration, a feeling that the kind of performance they embodied is something you can work toward in your own life, in your own way, starting today. The 12-week training plan we walk through is a starting point, not a ceiling. When you finish it, you will be ready for more volume, more intensity, more complexity. But more importantly, you will have built the habits, the mindset, and the physical foundation that make continued growth possible. The plan ends. The practice does not. That is the nature of peak performance. It is not a destination you arrive at and stay. It is a direction you choose every single day. Now, if there is one thing I want you to take from this episode, it is this. The Inca warriors were not superhuman. They were human beings, like you, who were placed in an environment that demanded extraordinary things of them and who responded to those demands with discipline, consistency, and purpose over a long period of time. You are being asked for nothing less and nothing more. The mountain is in front of you. The path is clear. All that remains is to take the first step. Start this week. Begin phase 1 of the Warrior Training Plan. Go for your first 45-minute walk on the most challenging terrain near you. Pack a light bag. Bring water. Move with intention. Change one meal. Replace one meal this week with a Warrior Foundation meal, quinoa or sweet potato, a quality protein source, and as many vegetables as you can fit on the plate. Notice how it makes you feel. Write your purpose. Tonight, before you sleep, write one paragraph answering this question. Why does becoming the strongest, most resilient version of yourself actually matter to the people and things you love most? That answer is your purpose. Guard it carefully. Until next time, keep climbing. This is Brad Young, and this has been the Peak Performance Podcast. Take care of yourselves out there.